Poverty is mindset. Abuse is a lesson. And you choose those experiences to grow your soul. How many times we heard that recently? Usually from someone who claims that they left their six-figure job to help you to become rich, abundant, aligned, and magnetic. And somehow now you are becoming their six-figure job. If poverty is mindset and abuse is a lesson, you already have the core formula of the spiritual industry. Add a $1 bill to it. To God I trust. Congratulations. Well, now you have the theology of modern self-help. Suffering is personal and profit is divine. In every regulated profession, authority comes with limits. As a practitioner, if I talk about something, I'm accountable. I'm supervised. I have to renew my license. And if my word harms someone, well, there will be a consequence to it. But the moment same claim is wrapped in spirituality, accountability disappears. No license requires, no oversight, no responsibility. You can say anything, you can promise anything. And if it fails, well, the responsibility is redirected to you. This is not freedom. This is industrial immunity. The truth is, spirituality was never meant to optimize modern life. It was meant to exit it. A few days ago, I opened my email. There was another email about consciousness, awareness, victimhood, and this time from Deepak Chopra. And this is where I wanted to be very clear. This is not about the idea of victimhood. This is about who he is, how he speaks, and how he behaves when no one is watching. Because the same man who tells people that suffering is a matter of consciousness appears minimum 3,000 times in Jeffrey Epstein's files and communications. In those emails, of course, we don't see any spirituality. We see entitlements. In some of those exchanges, Chopra talks about finishing 3 books at once. Not reflection, not contemplation, producing 3 books. Then he writes about traveling. He says when he finished this 3 books, he just wants to travel, relax, and he tells Epstein to bring his gears. And he says, if you have a problem, you can even change your name. Then he suggests to Epstein that how much he enjoys being with young girls, not women, young girls. How much he likes to stimulate them. This is not metaphor. This is a language. This is a grown man, a doctor, a spiritual authority, speaking casually about young girls, for God's sake. In the orbit of non-sexual abuser, that is not a lapse in judgment. This is a dirty mind protected by status. The hypocrisy is that his conversation happens when Epstein was already accused for being a sexual abuser. Now, there is a sympathy. And when 3,000 communication of Chopra Epstein is already public, Chopra takes few minutes of his precious time to ask his staff to respond to it. And he starts with, "I'm sorry for victims." Now suddenly he's sorry for victims. Now he's concerned. Now there is a talk about suffering. But there is a problem here. The man who teaches that people are responsible for their suffering suddenly understand victimhood only when exposure makes denial quite impossible. Before they are girls, now they are victims. And after, who knows what. And yet, he continues to sell the same spiritual framework that suffering is perception, that consciousness creates reality, that people must transcend victimhood. This is not enlightenment. This is narcissism with incense and candlelight. When a spiritual authority minimizes structural harm, sexualize young girls, associate closely, publicly with abuser, and then rebrand victim only after public exposure, he's not confused. This is dangerous. And the danger is amplified because their word carry moral authority without any accountability. God forbid if I want to send my younger to learn life, spirituality, alignment from a person like that. Historically, spirituality, meditation, detachment, stoicism are not designed to improve productivity, to write 3 books and just detach yourself from spirituality and having fun. Make capitalism gentler, help you tolerate injustice, or calm you before entering in a business meeting, or make you resilient inside a broken system. They are designed for exactly opposite: to withdraw, to renounce, to detach, to step outside social, economical, and political structure. Nirvana, enlightenment, union with God, higher self, all imply exit, not optimizations. A monk does not meditate to write a book about cleaning or to perform better in his work. A mystic does not detach in order to scale income. A renunciate does not seek awareness to tolerate exploitation. That's contradiction. What in general the modern spirituality industry does is to take the practice that is meant for you to learn how to exist the system and repurpose it to help you to survive inside the same system. Meditation become a kind of a stress management. Acceptance become compliance. Mindfulness become a kind of focus. Spiritual tools is no longer path out, but it's a kind of lubricant to help you to live and survive in the same system. So system does not need to change. You should learn how to live inside it. Because this is not a spirituality anymore. This is a kind of functional anesthesia. The spirituality should make people steadier, not quieter, stronger, not submissive, more connected, not isolated, especially isolated in your own head. If it teaches you that poverty is a mindset but never tells you who created that mindset, it's incomplete. If it tells victims to transcend but never confront the power, it is complicit. Real growth increases responsibility, not just inward, but outward. Not only in public, but also in your lifestyle. Otherwise, it's not wisdom, it is anesthesia. So thank you for being here with me and listening to what I had to say. And I hope you share and comment. I would like to hear about your experience with spirituality and your comments about this modern self-help industry. So stay with me in this community and share, subscribe, and comment. And I see you next week. For now, thank you and goodbye.